Digg just announced they're going to be gutting their staff, getting down to just a core small team due to AI. Due to AI disruption, guys, another company being impacted, another staff, another team being impacted by the disruption of AI. But what's interesting about the layoffs at Digg is the reason is a little bit different than what we're seeing at other organizations like Meta, Oracle, etc. They're not laying off employees because they want to free up capital for AI infrastructure spending. They're not laying off employees because they want to implement more AI bots onto their team, although that's probably something that they're looking at. They're dealing with a different issue, a different way that AI is disrupting their business. And we'll get into that in just a moment. I want to first just cover what is Digg. You may not have heard of them, but Digg is basically a social news aggregator and link sharing platform that was founded in 2004 by Kevin Rose. Now, in the past, I mean, this platform was huge. The platform at one point had over 40 million monthly users, and people had called it the homepage of the internet. I mean, Digg was a big deal. It still is to an extent, but for different reasons. Anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. Last year in March, the platform was relaunched, kind of branded as an alternative to Reddit, where users can post, share links, engage. It's essentially a social media platform / forum where real conversations happen, where real people get together and communicate. They felt at the time that this rebrand made sense, that the AI tools that were out there would give them a competitive advantage and bring the platform back to life, back to the glory days, and just really crush it. Well, it didn't happen that way. They miscalculated, guys. The Digg team fundamentally underestimated the, quote, brutal reality, end quote, of the current digital environment. What is that, you might ask? Put in the comments below what you're thinking. I'll give you a second. 1, 2, 3. They underestimated that the internet is completely overrun with AI bots. It is completely overrun, guys. And we're going to talk about that here in just a moment. The problem here for Digg was they weren't able to handle this problem at all, is they dealt with an insanely massive flood of sophisticated AI agents and automated accounts. I know, this is a real surprise, guys. The internet is full of bots. Everyone that's posting on social media is basically botting, and we're going to talk about how big of an issue this is, because you may kind of feel like you have an idea, but you probably have no idea. This is just, it's absolutely insane. It's absolutely, and I remember back in the day where you would open up an AOL chat and you were chatting with real humans, and it felt authentic, it felt different, it felt kind of weird, but it felt authentic. Nowadays, when you're arguing with someone about Donald Trump or whatever on the internet, chances are you're not actually arguing with a human. You're arguing with some algorithmic AI agent that's meant to trigger you. Yeah, absolutely crazy. Anyway, let's get back to what's happening at Digg here, because what ended up happening is because they underestimated how many AI agent bots are out there, these bots infiltrated and completely destroyed Digg's engagement and voting system. So again, if you're going to upvote something, or if you're going to engage with something and post to get a lot of engagement, get boosted to the top, it was completely busted because bots were boosting everything up. The CEO, Justin Meisel, said, quote, "When you can't trust that the votes, the comments, and the engagement you're seeing are real, you've lost the foundation a community platform is built on, which is people, which is community." Imagine, you're trying to get a hot date, right? You're trying to get a hot date and you're gonna go to a local meetup group where there's gonna be hot singles, and you show up and it's just a bunch of blow-up dolls. That is essentially what Digg was dealing with. It's a bunch of blow-up dolls at a singles event. Now, that's not what you want. I'll give you some examples here. I'm gonna give you a bunch of examples here in this video because I've been in this industry for a while, in social media marketing, YouTube. I've got over 1,500 videos on this channel. I ran an agency where I was helping people automate their podcast production and secure brand deals and stuff like that. So I kind of have some background information on how this works. But I'll give you an example. About a year and a half ago, I was invited to go on a podcast as a guest. And I was like, cool, I say yes to a lot of podcast invitations, at least I did at that time. I said, sure, I'll join. And as I was filling out the application to join the show, one of the screens said, by the way, it's $5,000 to be a guest on the show. And I'm thinking to myself, I would pay $5,000 to go on Rogan. You get to put your face in front of millions of people. So I was like, okay, well, let's look at this. And then you're doing this internal math in your head, like, well, how many of the viewers can I convert into clients and customers, et cetera, and so on. In any event, I went to the guy's YouTube channel and looked, and I was like, okay, he's got 1 million subs. He's getting, this looks like a pretty good channel. But then what I saw is he's got 1 million subscribers. His videos are getting, thousands to tens of thousands of views per video. But what I recognize is that this guy is getting 15,000 views on a video. He's getting 0 likes, 0 comments, 0 engagement. And that to me was a big red flag. I'm gonna pay $5,000 to go on a show that has a bunch of bots watching it? What are we talking about? Perfect example. I'll give you another example. Back when I was at the podcast agency, I had brought on a new client, and I was kind of going through the back end analytics, and the same kind of thing I saw. Like, this guy is getting hundreds of thousands of downloads on podcast episodes on his RSS feed on iTunes. Getting almost no, but he's getting hundreds of thousands of downloads on iTunes. He has like 5 reviews on Spotify, and his YouTube videos that we were posting were getting like 20 views on them. Red flag, this guy is paying for bots to watch or to listen, fake bots to listen to his episodes. And you know what these guys are doing is they're paying for bots to get fake traffic, and then they're going to advertisers and they're saying, hey, advertiser, look how many downloads I get. Just think what could happen if you were able to convert just 1% of these into paying clients. What these advertisers don't realize, or didn't realize at the time, was you're paying for bull crap. You're paying for smoke and mirrors. And I think there's gonna be a reckoning. We're talking more about that in a moment, but I think there is going to be a reckoning. Let's go back to Digg. Okay, so Digg is not giving up despite this AI bot automation an agent problem. They're not giving up. The founder, Kevin Rose, does plan to return to the company full-time here next month to build it back up. So I think there's a lesson here. I want to talk about it. Because again, I don't think people fully comprehend how large this bot problem is when it comes to the internet. And you might say, well, why do I care about this social media platform? Or why do I care if a Twitch streamer is streaming? Because guys, it impacts the way that all of our commerce works. Do you know how much money is spent on Amazon or Walmart? How much money, like how often do you come home, guys, and your wife has 5 boxes of stuff that she had bought and she's purchased online? Just think about how the way that we generate new customers and clients for our businesses. We're running ads, we're running Meta ads, we're running Google ads. What about SEO? We're working on SEO. Like, the way that commerce, marketing, sales, operate right now is through the digital world, and it's through the data that we get on digital world. But what if I told you that all the digital data is bunk? It's all BS because it's all being manipulated by AI agents. And then what if we start to examine, well, okay, if this is the reality that we're in, what do we do about that? Let's go into it. Let's dig into it a little bit deeper. So the reality, guys, is that AI is bringing massive disruption to the digital world where we all live, where you're watching right now. And there's a study released by a company called Imperva last year, and they showed that 51% of all website traffic, of all internet traffic, is automated. It is bots, 51%. There are now officially more bots engaging and viewing online than human beings. And this was released last year. They also came to the conclusion that 37% of all internet traffic are malicious bad bots. These are bots that are trying to get your personal information, customer information, sensitive personal information, SPI. They're trying to get your social, your credit card. They're trying to scrape all of your company data. They're trying to poke holes for potential ways to break into your organization, create cybersecurity threats, fish for data, spam, all that. 37%. Again, this was last year. Get this, travel sites, 48% of traffic to travel sites are bad bots, 48%. Retail and e-commerce, 35% of traffic is bad bots. Financial services, 25% of all their traffic, 1 out of 4 hits on their website is some sort of malicious, bad acting robot. This is just so crazy. And these, I mean, they're doing price scraping, they're trying to take over accounts, scalping, inventory hoarding. They're malicious, and they're all over the place. once you start to look at the numbers, it's kind of exasperating. It's alarming. You know, especially when it comes to cybersecurity and cloud computing. There's a company, Akami Technologies, they reported that the amount of AI bots on the internet have surged 300% since last year. Here's a question for you. Do you expect that number to go down? Do you expect that you watch this video a year from now and you say, wow, think about how bad the internet was before. Think about how many bots there were on the internet before. How times have changed. Everyone's a human online now. It's not gonna go that way, guys. It's gonna go the opposite way. This idea of dead internet theory is becoming more and more real. And I don't fully subscribe to all of dead internet theory because I know that I'm a human. I'm on the internet, I'm connecting, I'm getting emails from you guys, I'm commenting in the comments, like I'm getting real, these are real human beings. But just another quick side note, on this channel, it is 100% organic. We are not running ads. I'm not running ads. I'm not running any fake traffic. I have done that on other accounts for myself and for clients in the past. Don't do it anymore. Don't like it. Don't subscribe to it. It's all fake. It's all smoke and mirrors. I don't subscribe to that. Mistakes were made. We'll talk about that just a little bit more here in a moment. But this is all real. So dead internet theory just says that everything on the internet is all fake. It's all bots, and that's not the case. But when we look at the data, a large percentage are. But it goes farther than that, guys. You want a new customer? The idea is, let's run ads. I mean, I'm running ads for clients now, and we're generating a lot of return on ad spend. It's looking very, very good, especially on Google Ads. We're not quite cracking it on Meta ads for my clients, but we're working there. We're testing out a ton of new media. I'm running Claude Cowork to help bring up all sorts of stuff and analysis. If you're interested in what I'm doing with Claude Code, by the way, and how I'm leveraging AI bots to drive better traffic and better conversions, subscribe to my newsletter, aiupdate.ai. That's where I'm sharing what I'm doing every week. That's aiupdate.ai. It's totally free. And I'm sharing what I'm doing with Claude Cowork and how I'm automating Claude into workflows. So anyway, I think you'll find it interesting. If you find this video interesting, you'll find it interesting. Regardless, if you want a new customer, one of the common ways to do that is to run ads. Well, what if I told you that 30% of every dollar, 30% of all your ad spend is being wasted on bot clicks? What if I told you that? It's pretty unprecedented. If you go into like your email deliverability, you'll see clicks and you'll see verified link clicks, and you'll see that like verified clicks might be, I don't know, 10,000. Your verified link clicks might be 500 because bots are completely overwhelming the internet. Streaming and engagement bots, also a huge problem. I was watching a video on this the other day. It's unclear exactly how many viewer bots there are on platforms like Twitch or like Kick, but some estimates put it at over 40%. Over 40% of the viewership on some of these channels is fake. And all the big streamers are doing this, guys. They're all doing this. In fact, they feel like they have to. It's this idea that like, well, in order for me to compete, I have to. And I get the logic behind it. Do you want to go into a restaurant that's completely empty with no one in the parking lot? No, you don't want to go in there. But if you go to a restaurant and there's a bunch of people there, you're like, okay, I want to try it. Why are people here? Why are people consuming these hamburgers? Why are people consuming these products? I want to try one. It's the same thing with these streaming platforms, the mentality of, I don't want to walk into an empty room. If there's 1,000 people here watching the stream, I want to stick around and I want to engage and I want to be part of this community. There's absolutely that psychological, that is absolutely psychologically occurring, okay? And what these Twitch streamers, what these people are thinking is, well, I'll just pay for bot traffic so I can get started. I'm going to fake it till I make it. I don't think that's going to pay off, guys. I mean, I get the understanding. I understand the logic. The problem, though, and where this becomes, I think, fraud, and I think that we're actually going to see some big streamers get wrapped up in lawsuits, is what these guys are doing is they're going to advertisers and they're telling advertisers, look, I got 2 million watch hours on my channel last month. This is how much money I can make for you. This is what the CPM is. This is what the cost per milli is, which is essentially saying per 1,000 views, this is what you should pay me. Maybe it's $20 per milli. And what they're doing essentially is they're defrauding advertisers by telling them that they're going to get them this many eyeballs when it's all fake. There's going to be, mark my words, there's going to be a huge lawsuit coming up very, very soon Because the reality is that all the streamers are doing this. They're all doing it. They're all doing it, guys. You know, when you're watching a stream review other than my channel, but even my channel is gonna have some bot traffic. I mean, I've seen it in the comments myself. I try to fight it, but there's like a never-ending supply of it. You know, anytime I post something about a financial or the stock market, there will inevitably be bots inside my comments saying stuff like, does anyone know where I could invest $10,000? And then it'll have immediately 15 comments that say like, oh, well, have you heard of John Smith? And then someone else says, oh yeah, John Smith made me a lot of money. And then someone else says, John Smith, that sounds great, I'll look into it. This is all over the place. It's absolutely crazy. And again, this is why I really want to build the fundamentals of this channel off real people like you and me, So what does this all mean? What does this all mean at the end of the day? Digg is laying off a bunch of people. People are going to stop trusting views. People are going to stop running ads. You know, Google reviews become meaningless. We live in this world where, you know, what poll is correct or not. Everything is digital. Everything is database. But if all the digital data is flawed, what does that even mean? Well, I can tell you this. It means we need to adapt, not just in perspective, but in the actions that we're taking, okay? Now, this does not mean we need to deploy a bunch of fraudulent apps to manipulate the public. No. However, leveraging AI agents to fight AI agents, I think becomes a crucial strategy. Oh, by the way, I didn't even mention this. I covered this in a video a little while ago. I'll post a link to it here. You know, if you're on the job market, you're trying to find a job, guess what? You're not competing just against humans. You're competing against AI agents. And not only are you competing against AI agents, you need to stand out to the AI agent. You submit an application, it's being reviewed by AI, and that AI is reviewing all the applications from other people using AI to fill out the application. So what does that mean? Well, you need to use AI agents to apply for all the jobs that you might be interested in order to get attention from the AI agents. It's like AI agents talking to AI agents is what the world becomes. By the way, just another quick side note, business idea. In this world of smoke and mirrors and where nothing can be trustworthy and everything is fake digital, human beings, mark my words, are very much gonna hunger for in-person, real-world, authentic experiences. Mark my words, that is gonna become, like, getting out and touching grass is gonna become big. I promise you that. So in any event, what does this mean? Well, if we're moving into a world where everyone's using AI agents on the internet, we also need to use AI agents. Again, not for fraudulent reasons, but if your platform, if your ads response, you're getting blown up with tons of AI agent requests, you're gonna need AI agents to handle all those requests. Otherwise, you're gonna be drowning in requests. We need to think differently. You know, if you're thinking about running ads to grow your business, well, where do you do that? You can't just go to an influencer and say, hey, can I run ads on your channel? No, you're gonna need to actually look at, you know, well, what results have you gotten for people in the past? What kind of proof can you show me? What kind of data do you have? You know, I'm not just interested in how many views you get, I'm interested in how many verifiable clicks you're getting on the links that you're sharing, right? So we're moving into this new world, and it's just shocking, it's just kind of shocking how far we've come. And I wanted to highlight this because at Digg, they're learning this the hard way. But as a subscriber to the channel, being more informed, being more educated, you're not gonna need to learn the hard way. You're gonna know what's happening before everyone else does. Because the reality is, guys, most people have no idea what's happened. They have no idea what's happened or what's going to happen. So by being a member of the channel, by being in the comments, by being one of the thousands and thousands of people in the comments, you're engaging with real humans that are actually invested in being relevant, respected, and financially free in the future. All right, boys, if you enjoyed today's video, definitely check out yesterday's video where we talk about Meta. Meta is laying off 20% of their staff. 1 out of 5 people at Meta is getting the axe because of AI, and we're gonna cover it in yesterday's video. Check it out here. All right, see ya, peace.